Hello. I like UFC, and these are going to be my picks for UFC Fight Night Hernandez versus Rodrigues tomorrow at 8 p.m. So, starting off at the bottom of the card begins with Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed from England. Opening it up here. I think that Chanel Dyer is going to win. I think she's pretty decent. I know she has the one loss, I believe, was on the Contender Series. I'm not exactly too sure. But I think she's better than Elise Reed. Elise Reed is it seems like she's only capable of beating the bottom of the barrel of women's fighters in the strawweight division. And I don't think she really excels anywhere on the ground or on the feet or anything. And I feel like Chanel Dyer has some good knockout power. She can hurt people. I believe she knocked out her last opponent. And I think she is just a better prospect. Elise Reed's been in the UFC for a few years at least. She hasn't really done much. And to be honest, I don't think she's going to do much. No offense to her. I just think she's just above the bottom tier women's fighter. Just above them. I think Chanel Dyer is a pretty decent women's fighter for strawweight, and I think she might be able to make it into the rankings. So I'm going to go with her, and I think that she's going to win by TKO is my opinion. That would be what I would bet on for her. Chanel Dyer by TKO. Moving on, Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVeigh. I'm not really a fan of either of these guys. I don't think either of them are very good, to be honest. This is a bottom barrel of middleweight. Jackson McVeigh I think he's 1-2, and he has a loss to, I believe, Zachary Reese, which is just not good. And then Wes Schultz got fucking annihilated by Damian Pinas, and then he beat a very old guy recently. I don't think either of these guys go very far, to be honest. I think they're both really just not good. But to be said, they are fighting each other, so one of them has to win, and I think who I'm going to go with is Jackson McVeigh. His one win, I can't remember who it's over, but I know it's a decent fighter. And I think it's more impressive than the one win that Wes Schultz has in the UFC. And also, I believe whoever wins this could be a winner keeps your job matchup, genuinely. I wouldn't be surprised if they release one of these guys for losing. I mean, you're 9-3 and 7-2, and I believe they both have negative records in the UFC. But I think Jackson McVeigh is a little bit better. And Wes Schultz has no striking. He seems like a victim on the feet, genuinely. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Jackson McVeigh hurts him and then maybe subs him. Maybe first or second round is my guess. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jackson McVeigh. Moving on. Gage Young versus Stan Dorsainville. Well, his picture's not there, but it was just there a second ago. I think on this one I'm going to go with Gage Young. I saw some other people making YouTube videos and going with Stan Dorsainville. I think it's a bit I think it's not too good of an idea to go with a guy who has 5 fights in total, making his UFC debut, versus a guy who has a winning record in the UFC. It's just my opinion. But I think Gage Young is capable of beating him. I'm not too sure how, but I have a feeling this is going to be a 29-28 decision. I get a feeling this fight won't be very good. Gage Young is pretty decent. Don't know how far he'll go in the UFC, but this is a really kind of just a filler fight. These two fighters, regardless who wins or losses, I don't think either of them are going to get cut. And they don't really have a lot of hype behind them or a big fan base on either side. So I think this is just kind of filler to fill up the card. But I'm going to go with Gage Young. And to be honest, overall, this card there's some filler, but there's some actually good fights in this card. This fight could be good, but I got a feeling they know it's not a super popular fight between super popular fighters, and I feel like it might reflect that in the actual fight. I'm going to go with Gage Young, maybe like a 29-28 decision, something like that. Moving on, Marcio Barboza versus Ryan Hughes. They just showed his picture a second ago. I'll close this again so you can see him. There he is. There's Stan as well. Open this up again. So Marcio, I saw his last fight and he annihilated, I believe it was Dennis Bazooka by KO, first round. I think he's going to do it again, to be honest. I think he's going to knock out Ryan Hughes first round. The man has a 17-2 record, is really good. And if you look at his stats, he's got like 15 knockouts, I believe. 15 or 14 knockouts. And he's 5'6", so he's just a featherweight, so like Volkanovski. He's a ball of muscle. Crazy KO power. He's able to find the KO. I mean, the man's got, I think, 15 knockouts, so he's obviously able to find it. And Ryan Hughes is kind of like, he's 9-2, but he is kind of just like a random guy off the regional scene. Some like decent wins, some not so decent wins. Where Marcio Barboza is like, he's on a tear. And I think he's levels above Ryan Hughes. I wouldn't be surprised if Marcio genuinely KOs him in like the first half of round one. But there's no way that this doesn't end by Marcio getting a KO win. I don't see anything other than that. So yeah, I'm going with Marcio, KO, first round. Moving on. Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Haqparast. Actually a really close and even fight, I feel. I mean, like, just looking at the odds, 105 to 115, super close odds. A lot of their stats are super close. Their reach, their height, even their records are really close. Obviously, Nasrat is just coming back from that really bad KO to Quinlan Salkild, who just fought recently. I think Nasrat is good, but I think he also, going back through his fights, I did look through them recently, and he does have some fights where I feel like he lost, and he got kind of gifted them by the judges. As where Chris Padilla has been on kind of like a roll in the UFC. I think his last fight was like a draw, but I think it was kind of bullshit, and he clearly won it. I believe it was against Markel Medeiros, who's also on this card. But I'm going to go with Chris Padilla. I think he is just better. Nasrat's been beat a few times, even though he has a winning record in the UFC. He's been beat a few times, and he's had some performances where he should have lost, I feel. I think Chris Padilla is just going to, like, outwork him. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 30-27 decision, unanimous for Chris Padilla. That would be my guess. I don't really see this ending in KO. And I don't think Nasrat's going to come out and be, like, super aggressive after just getting, like, violently KO'd, right? I think he's going to be very timid. So I'm going to go with Chris Padilla. I think it's going to be a decision. I think it's going to be like a unanimous is my guess. But yeah, I'm going with Chris Padilla. Moving on. Heavyweight Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil Gaziev, the Blob himself. I like Shamil, but I don't think he's amazing. Neither is Kennedy, to be honest. Kennedy lost to fucking Walter Walker, like, which isn't a bad loss, but it's like he got destroyed in like a minute, which is like, bro, like, last a little bit longer than that. And then I think he also drew recently, had a draw with Marcus Buchecha, I believe, which is like, that's bad, man. Like, Buchecha is ass. Like, Kennedy, I root for Kennedy. I've bet on him and chosen him as like who I think is gonna win a few times, but he always doesn't deliver or loses. Unless he's literally fighting bottom of the barrel. He seems like he's always just outside the rankings and then loses. Shamil, he's in the rankings. I don't know if he's still in the rankings. They don't have a thing on here. I don't know if he's like number 14 or 15. I assume not if they got rid of the thing. But I mean, if Kennedy beats Shamil, he'll probably be like around 15, maybe 16, just outside. I want to go with Kennedy. I think he's going to win. He's in better shape, obviously. I mean, just looking at him, you can tell he's not a blob. He's an actual, like, recently conditioned, in shape fighter. Shamil is just a blob. His cardio is really bad when he gets later rounds. Like when he fought Rosenstruck and he really just got TKO'd by exhaustion. Shamil is, I don't know, he plods around a lot. He's really tall and heavy on his front leg, and I feel like if Kennedy just kicks him a bunch, he will just cripple him. But that being said, I mean, Shamil does have some knockout power. His boxing is really good. He's KO'd a few guys. I think he has a chance. But I think Kennedy's going to win this. That's what I'm going to pick. But being completely honest, I feel like this is a very 50-50 matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kennedy fumbles this and Shamil wins by KO. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go with Kennedy. I'm going to say KO, maybe like second round. I'm going to say he beats up Shamil. And then KOs him later. Next fight, Larian Douglas versus Jamal Emmers. Pretty decent fight. Jamal Emmers isn't very popular. Not a lot of people. I don't think he has a lot of fans. But I mean, he's a little older. He's been in the UFC a while. I think he's 36, maybe, around there. But he's been in the UFC a bit. He's got some good wins. Got some bad losses too, to be honest. Larian Douglas just came off crazy KO Julian Rosa, really good. He's got some losses on the regional scene, but I believe a lot of those were a long time ago, so he could be a completely different fighter. Very similar in height and reach. These guys are. Jamal Emmers, I believe, is much older than Larian. I think Larian is 29. They don't say it on here, but I want to say 29. I'm going to go with Larian Douglas. I feel like he might KO Emmers in the first or second round, but I have a feeling that Jamal knows this, Emmers, and I think he's going to try to wrestle Larian a lot. I think he's going to try to wrestle him. If Larian is actually as good as people think he is, and that I want to say he is, that I want to believe he's that good, hopefully he can nullify any wrestling and keep it on the feet. And if he does, I think he will win by KO. Also, Jamal Emmers doesn't have this crazy chin. He did get KO'd by Nate Landwehr, and that's not a good look for fighting a guy who's literally like a knockout machine, in Larian. So, moving on. Anthony went by Terrence Chapman. Image is gone, but I'll go back. There's the image. This is Terrence Chapman. This is guaranteed. This is Anthony winning, and it has to be by KO. If he doesn't KO this guy, I mean, Terrence Chapman is 5-1. He is not good. He has not fought good competition. He is a fat blob off the regional scene. Anthony Wynn is an ex-football player. I mean, look at him. He's jacked. He's fucking massive. He just KO'd a guy in like 30 seconds on the Contender Series. Short, big, stocky, ball of muscle. I think he's going to destroy this guy, Eric Chapman. I think he's going to annihilate him. If this isn't, I mean, this is kind of like one of the matchups of doom. The UFC matchmaker is going crazy with this. Anthony Wynn probably going to win by KO. I don't see any other way, to be honest. It's got to be first round, too. With what he did in the Contender Series, and then this opponent being around the same skill level, I don't see it going out of the first round by KO. 100%. I bet all my money on this. Moving on. Carly Judice, Jaisla Chavez. I'm going to go with Carly Judice on this one. Jaisla Chavez is okay. But this is also low-level women's flyweight. But I think Carly Judice is better. I believe she's on a 3-fight win streak. She started off with a really ugly record and kind of had like a loss, a robbery, decision loss that she should have won. Her record would be a little better. But she has won 3 fights in a row. And I think she's pretty good. I think she's aggressive. I think she's got good boxing, good knockout power. Jaisla Chavez, I haven't really seen much of her fights. I know she had one good fight in the Contender Series, and it was like a war. And she did win. But I don't see her going super far. I think Carly Judice is pretty decent, and I'm going to go with her. I think she's either going to, beat her up 30-27 or maybe TKO her later in the rounds. That's my guess. But who knows? I could be wrong. Women's fights are low-level women's fights are very random sometimes. Markel Medeiros versus Mason Jones. Mason Jones is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now. I hope he goes far, and I hope he doesn't go on no loss streaks. I love watching his fights. I've watched all of his fights since he came back. Especially his last one against Axel Sola. It was super impressive. He's got a crazy chin. He can be hurt, but he never goes out cold. And he has good recovery. Really tough guy. And he has a crazy strike output. He throws a lot of strikes, messes people up, cuts people, breaks their bones, damages them, stuns them, wobbles them, knocks them down. Knees, elbows, everything. He goes crazy. He is in there to mess people up. And his fights are normally amazing. Like, a lot of his fights are awesome. Markel Medeiros, on the other hand, 11-1, pretty decent record. This is a guy who tied with Chris Padilla, but I feel like he lost. He's got like a decent win in the UFC, but I don't think he's on the same level as Mason Jones. I think Mason Jones is due after this to either get a ranked opponent or like be placed at number 15. Markel Medeiros is pretty good. He might be able to hurt Mason Jones, but I don't see him finishing Mason Jones. I pray he doesn't finish Mason Jones, because I'm a Mason Jones fan. But I'm going to go with Mason Jones. I'm going to say, I don't know if it'll be TKO, because he didn't TKO his last one, but if this is a war, if this goes to a war like a couple of his fights have gone, he is going to outlast the other guy in this war. And I think he'll either win 2-1 or get like a late round TKO. I think Mason Jones is made for these kind of fights against these tougher fighters. He doesn't break before they break. So I'm going to go with Mason Jones. Next fight, I believe this is the feature fight. Reiner de Ritter is going to light heavyweight, fight Roman Dolidze, who recently just got knocked out of the rankings, I believe. He was number 15, now he's just outside the rankings. I'm going to be honest, I think Reiner de Ritter wins this all day. He has way better striking than Dolidze. Dolidze has like barely any striking on him. He's just hoping to get a flash KO. His wrestling is pretty good, but then again, he has been out-wrestled before, and Reiner de Ritter is a pretty good wrestler. He's also much bigger at light heavyweight. He's not having to cut all this weight. I think he fought like 4 or 5 times in a year in middleweight and did a shit ton of weight cutting. And all that fucking like destroyed him. You could tell in like the Brendan Allen fight, like the man had nothing left. And now that he's not cutting all this weight, I saw him at the weigh-ins. He looks massive. He looks healthy. Roman Dolidze is getting older too. I believe he's 38 or 39. I think, and Reiner de Ritter has been, like, when he's at middleweight, even if he was like killing himself with weigh-ins, he was still fighting at the top of the division and making these fights competitive. And he got a bunch of good wins. Roman Dolidze, like, I just think he's so like underwhelming. I feel like he is like a gatekeeper, like he is like a Neil Magny, he is like a, Bobby Green, something like that. Like, he's always going to be just around 15, something like that. And as he gets older, he's only going to drop down the card. I'm going to go with Reiner de Ritter. I'm going to say submission, actually. I think Roman Dolidze is going to get out-wrestled. He's going to be shown levels by Reiner de Ritter. And I think he's going to be hurt, maybe, and submitted in the later rounds. Moving on to the co-main event. Vitor Petrino versus Sergey Spivak. Sergey Spivak, one of the victims of Tom Aspinall. I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino, and let me explain why. Sergey Spivak is good, number 6. If Vitor beats him, I don't know if he's going to go all the way up to number 6, or they're going to give him like number 8 or 9. I'm not sure. But Spivak is good. He's a good fighter, but recently he hasn't been doing that good. I mean, he got KO'd by Almeida, which is like, that's bad, but who the fuck gets KO'd by Almeida? The man don't even want to fight. That's why he's not in the UFC anymore. But I feel like Sergey Spivak, he always loses to fighters who are like in shape, who are near the top of the division, like Tom Aspinall. I believe he lost to Cyril Gane as well, and Jalton. It's really like the build to beat him. And I feel like Vitor Petrino is that build. He's an in-shape, big heavyweight with a lot of knockout power, and he's actually pretty good. Unless he could also just stick his head into a guillotine, like when he did to Anthony Smith and just gave him a win. He could deadass just do that. But I'm going to say he doesn't. I'm going to say Vitor Petrino will hurt Sergey and maybe KO him in the first or second round. Sergey never doesn't make it to a lot of decisions. A lot of his fights normally end by him subbing someone or him getting KO. But there is definitely a chance Sergey winning. He's definitely got a chance here. But I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino. I think he's a slight favorite. Yeah, he's a slight favorite, which I think is justified. Slight favorite. I think he's going to beat Sergey. And yeah, moving on to the main event. Anthony Hernandez, number 6, versus Gregory Rodrigues, number 11, middleweight. This is a weird one. I can see kind of either guy winning, but I'm going to go with Gregory Rodrigues. Don't get me wrong, this guy is on so much roids. I mean, just look at him. I think he's 33 or 34, but he looks like an 85-year-old man. He is on so much roids, but he is super strong. He has crazy KO power. He KO'd, I think, most recently Bruno Ferreira with one punch. KO'd him stiff on the ground. And Anthony Hernandez has a weakness to the body. I mean, look at his body. He's in shape, but he has a soft body. He doesn't have like these really hard built-up abs and like side muscles in his serratus and his lats that wrap around like Gregory. I feel like he's weak to the body. I feel like he has better wrestling than Gregory, better jiu-jitsu. I think he can maybe take him down. But if Gregory is able to stuff the wrestling of Hernandez, I think Hernandez will be a victim on the feet. His striking is pretty good. Both of them are good, but I feel like Gregory has more power, slightly better striking. Anthony Hernandez kind of the opposite. He's got cardio, probably better cardio than Gregory, but he can't take the shots to the body, and also the shots to the body are going to get rid of his cardio. Gregory, his last fight was Bruno Ferreira, but Anthony Hernandez's last fight was Sean Strickland. Losing to Sean Strickland isn't bad. Sean Strickland is the champ now. He just beat Chimaev. But he did lose by KO, and that's not a good look. Sean Strickland is not a power puncher. He's not a one-shot KO guy, and you got KO'd to the body by him. It's the bad omen. It doesn't signal good things. I'm going to go with Gregory Rodrigues, maybe by like a TKO to the body in like the second, third, maybe even fourth round. If not, I can definitely see Anthony Hernandez maybe getting a late round sub or like grinding out a decision. But I'm going to go put my faith in Gregory to find a TKO, maybe to the body, hopefully. But yeah, that's going to be my pick. Those are my picks for the prelims and main card of UFC Fight Night Sacramento, Hernandez versus Rodrigues. And have a good night. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.